This is one of our favorite videos
Come on,
to
baby.
make on a weekly basis where we get to
Mm-hmm.
dive into our follower leagues, our Dynasty follower leagues, the people who support us on Patreon and that we play leagues with. We are looking at a trade that happened in the Juliet League. Our leagues go by the NATO alphabet, just so you are aware. So this is from the Juliet League, and it's between Billy and Jordan's Dynasty. Billy Spriggs, I mean, he's in a lot of leagues, but
He is Kingdom
this
Builder.
one is from, sorry?
Kingdom Builder.
Kingdom Builder. Um, but we're gonna show you this trade. We're gonna first look at this trade without context, and then we're
Right.
gonna look at each team and include context and decide if that changes things here. So, looks like in this trade, Billy, is it Billy? Let me double check. Yes, it's
Yeah,
Billy
Billy and
who gets
Jordan.
Dawson Knox. I wasn't sure who got what side.
Okay.
So Billy gets Dawson Knox, Zach Wilson, and Garrett Wilson, the Wilson brothers out in New York, as well as a 2023 mid third round pick. And then you can see Jordan's Dynasty gets the opposite side of that, which is Darnell Mooney, Davis Mills, and a 2023 mid first round pick. So we're going to look at this without context first. And I just want to know from your perspective, without context, what side do you lean here?
Yeah, without context, I'm actually really happy to go with Billy's team here. I like Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and Dawson Knox. You get, like Zach said, the Wilson brothers.
Mm.
I'm a believer in Wilson. He was my wide receiver one coming out of this 2022 class. And Zach Wilson, I know it has been the best and easiest, smoothest start for him in year two, but I'm still believing he can come out. Still only 23 years old. Is he the answer? I'm not sure. But this is the chance you take. You know, is Davis Mills the answer? You're not sure, but I think the chances of the Texans getting a quarterback next year is significantly higher than the Jets getting a quarterback in 2023. So
Yeah, I agree.
they're going to continue to invest in Zach Wilson, and I'm assuming maybe Billy is kind of a, well, he traded a 23 first, but I'm assuming he's a futuristic team. He's not looking to win right now. He's looking to develop some of these players, and then you get Dawson Knox, who just had it was a 4-5 year contract extension there with Josh Allen. He's going to be utilized. He's going to be there for a very long time.
It wasn't week one, but you're right. It's going to change.
Yeah, he's going to be there for a very long time with one of the best quarterbacks with what we saw from week one so far. It's going to be, he's going to be there for a very long time. Only 25 years old. You can set and forget Dawson Knox unless you can get a better tight end. But I'm actually really happy with Billy's trade. And don't get me wrong, I like Darnell Mooney, and I love that 23 first. I believe in Mooney, but we all know that the expectation is that this Bears team is going to be getting a wide receiver in 2023. They have to. And Darnell Mooney is going to go back to the wide receiver too. But he can be successful as a wide receiver too. But give me Billy with Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and Dawson Knox.
Yeah, this is really tough. It really, really is tough because I think when I look at this trade, it really comes down to two things.
Mm-hmm.
What is Zach Wilson going to be in the NFL?
Yeah.
On Billy's side, that is the big question mark. We don't question that Garrett Wilson. I mean, I kind of compared him to Robert Woods a little bit as far as his career path. I kind of view him as a wide receiver too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he could become. Some people say Diggs. I don't see that, but regardless, I think I know he's going to be a good football player.
Right.
And Dawson Knox is on a good team. Zach Wilson's a big question mark here for Billy. I mean, what the hell are we getting in Zach Wilson? We still don't know. After this time, the amount of starts that he's had, we don't know. And the injury is obviously holding that up as well. So if Wilson turns out to even be a top 12 fantasy quarterback, dynasty quarterback, right?
Right.
Let's say he even turns out to be top 12. I think you win this trade. But that's the big unknown, and that's probably what Billy's betting on. So then you look at the other side here for Jordan, and again, the biggest question for me is not Davis Mills, because I don't think he's I mean, we've talked about this. I personally do not believe that he is a long-term starter.
Agreed.
But it's where is that 23 first going to be? And we'll find out because we can tell you exactly who has that 23 first and what their team looks like if they're competing or not. But that is the big question for me is where is that 23 first? Because if I can get a CJ Stroud with that pick, if I can get a Bijan Robinson, if I can get a Zach Evans, a Jahmyr Gibbs, if I can get a Jackson Smith and Jigba, a Anthony Richardson, Will Levis looked pretty good last week. Then that's a different conversation point for me because I really, really love those players. And I'm not so certain on Zach Wilson. I like him, but again, like, how do you be certain either way on Zach Wilson at this point? You know what I mean? Like, At some point you just have to be like, I do not know what I have in Zach Wilson, and I
Yeah.
think that's where we are.
And I think that's the risk maybe that Billy took. He
Yeah,
knows the risk
exactly.
with Zach Wilson, but maybe he feels very comfortable with Garrett Wilson and Dawson Knox. You know,
Here's what I'll say it comes down to for me, and I've been kind of saying this all offseason, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that I don't think Darnell Mooney is the long-term wide receiver one in Chicago. I think right now he's going to thrive off of volume. It wasn't a good week one. Throw out that game entirely. Do
yeah,
not make any dynasty or fantasy decisions from week one, San Francisco and Chicago.
agreed.
But Mooney will thrive off targets.
Hmm.
They will bring in a alpha wide receiver there, and that's what I've been saying the entire offseason. So, without context, I do lean towards Billy's side, but it is close, and I understand both perspectives, and I think context is actually going to be pretty important
Agreed.
for this trade. So let's go ahead and look at some context. We got Billy's team on the left. We got Jordan's team on the right. Let's look at Billy's team.
You can even
Zach
see in his
Wilson.
name, Stroud and Proud. So
Stroud and Proud. So he's obviously tanking, but I mean, he's tanking, but also he gives away a first. Interesting. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
So Zach Wilson, Josh Jacobs, James Robinson, Eeny Meeny, Westbrook McKinney. I don't know how to say his name. Chase Claypool, Goddard, Knox, Gage, Samuel, Kyle Trask, Breida Scott, Harris. Oh, this is rough. Algier, Garrett Wilson, Randall Cobb. Oh my
Right.
goodness, this is a rough one,
So he
Billy.
is
I
definitely-
anticipate a lot of draft picks.
And he's already
Well-
he's already lost a game, so he's on the right path here.
Well, they're both 0-1 is what it looks like. I mean,
Okay.
look, I definitely want to see Billy's trade capital
Exactly.
or his draft capital, excuse me, in a second, because I anticipate it being very,
It
very
has to
interesting.
be. It has to be.
Jordan's dynasty on the right. He's got Aaron Rodgers, Leonard Fournette, Etienne, Diggs, Moore, Hawkinson, Hollywood. This is obviously a win now team. Mike Williams, Ryan Tannehill, Davis Mills, Penny, Dillon, Akers, Herbert, Lazard. I mean, Ayuk, Mooney, Hooley. I mean, this team's got some absolute shooters. We got shooters
Shooters.
on Jordan's team. This is a nice team. This is clearly a win now team that maybe underperformed week one, right? I mean, when you look at this team, Mike Williams underperformed week one. I would say it's safe to say DJ Moore underperformed week one. It's a touchy subject on DJ Moore in the community, but he underperformed week one, 8
Right.
points. ETN underperformed. Rodgers underperformed. So this team definitely should bounce back. But so with Jordan being win now,
With Jordan being win now doesn't necessarily. I feel like it doesn't necessarily change anything with the trade.
Okay.
In my opinion, doesn't change
Right.
anything. I think he kind of just makes a lot of remove. He gets a 23 first. He trades away all these guys, Wilson, Garrett, Dawson, and gets a 23 first. Davis Mills, once again, kind of a throw-in piece. He's not the long-term answer, but Darnell Mooney is still a good value as a wide receiver, maybe a flex option in the future. When I say the future, I mean 2023, not this year specifically, but in the future. So I'm actually pretty okay with this trade. He still has Cam Akers. I know people are shaking on him. Allen Lazard is still there. McCole Harmon kind of showed something very interesting with the Chiefs. He has Brandon Ayuk as well. Julio Jones. I think he's one off personally because TB12 probably retires and Julio walks as well. The team is kind of like high, like it's young and also futuristic with all the pieces. You know.
It's kind of a good hybrid. My question is really going to be what's the draft capital for both of these teams. I need to know where that 23 first is. So let's do that.
Okay.
So the 23 first, I'm just going to recap. I believe it was from Linked Nova. Can we check on Linked Nova's team? So it looks like right now Linked Nova has Justin Fields, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Mac Jones, Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, St. Brown, Renfro, Pat Fryermuth, and they don't have their first. So it looks like Linked Nova is a pretty good team, though. I wouldn't really say that they're tanking, but this is probably a mid first. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. I think he'll be a middle of the pack team. I think he has good wide receivers. Quarterbacks are in question. I love Fields. I love Goff.
By the way, I can bring up his matchup in week one, which he won versus D-Rock. Wait, how? D-Rock had Cooper Kupp and Justin Herbert and Najee and Dalvin and Devontae
I mean,
what in the world? Who did Link Nova have here?
well, Link Nova had Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra. I
Wow.
mean, he had a
Crazy.
couple good people. I mean, Pat the Dragon went off as well a little bit. He had like double-digit points.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just estimate that this is probably a mid-first round pick.
I think this is like, yes, maybe like 5 to 8 pick potentially. I think he's a middle of the pack team, in my opinion.
Right.
Link Nova is.
Like depends on what Brees Hall really becomes, Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that's like a mid first round pick for Billy or for Jordan. So now we look at his draft capital. He's got the 23 first, a fourth, and then he's got all of his picks after that in the 2024 class. So that gives him at least like something to be excited about in 2023. For Billy, his draft capital.
He's the guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 423 first. So Billy gets the young pieces, gives away a 23 first, but still has 423 first. Now with the draft capital in my eyes, Billy kind of wins this trade. Not only does he have 4 firsts, he has 3 second round picks in the 23 class as well. And then
4 thirds.
4 thirds, like Zach just said. I mean,
in the 24 class, he has 2 24 first round picks as well.
Look, I mean, Billy's team doesn't have the best pieces now, but
that's what I was gonna say.
Let's kind of recap it though. I mean, Kenny Pickett, who I still really like, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's gonna be good. Yeah,
Zach Wilson, still in question. No running backs that we love at all. I mean, Josh Jacobs is there, but I think we can move forward from there.
Looks rough right now.
And then wide receivers, Garrett Wilson is the only guy I think we can probably say we are remotely excited about on this team.
Yeah.
And then the tight ends, he has Dallas Goedert and Dawson Knox, which maybe, hey, he can sell Dallas Goedert and maybe get another wide receiver potentially if he really wants to. But
he's actually tight end university here. I mean, let's look at this again.
And Trey McBride.
Sorry, it went out. It was week 7.
Yeah, week 7 as well. And Trey McBride. Yeah, Trey McBride, Greg Dulcich. So he has some young tight ends that he's going to be potentially moving in the next couple years. Yeah. This is a long play for Billy. But, I mean, once again, a handful of players that we probably really like, all these guys will probably be irrelevant in the next year or two as well.
Yeah, it is a really, really interesting trade. I feel like Billy is, I don't know, like 4 first-round picks is definitely a lot. Mm-hmm. But when I look at his team, I still worry that even after this draft class, he's going to have enough to really feel like his team is like, actually going in the right direction. Like, not that it won't be going in the right direction, but will those 4, okay, again, like you said, maybe Wilson is good, maybe Pickett's good, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Running backs, long-term in Dynasty, I think we can both say there's not an RB1 here.
No.
Right?
No doubt.
Maybe an RB2. Wide receivers, you talked about it. Garrett Wilson's the only one who has wide receiver 2 appeal. So this is really interesting how this plays out, because I would actually argue that the Wilson hitting actually means more now that I look at this trade than it did before. Just because how many players are we going to hit on in that class with the amount of holes that we have? So I actually feel like I understand both sides more now that I've looked at the trade capital for both of these guys. I understand why Billy's taking this chance. I understand why he's taking this risk. And then for Jordan, I understand why a team who is competing would want that sort of draft capital in case things go wrong. I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers here. You have Ryan Tannehill. You've got Davis Mills.
Right.
You're probably going to have to replace one of these quarterbacks here soon.
Right.
Fournette's getting a little bit older, but you still got Dylan on the bench, Penny on the bench. So I can really understand Ayuk, Mooney. I can understand why he would want to kind of get in rotation some more draft capital. I don't think I can pick a winner, truly. Like again, like I said at the beginning, everything hinges on Zach Wilson, really. Because if Zach Wilson's even a top 12 quarterback, then Billy's won this trade. If Zach Wilson is not, then I would say that Jordan's won this trade. That's really how it pans out for me in my mind.
Right. Okay. I mean, at least for the way I'm thinking about it is more like longevity. So I don't think we will actually know the winner of this trade, in my opinion.
No, you're 100% right. We can only judge at what we know what we know now, but we won't know.
And I think what really helps him here specifically is the quarterback room. If Zach Wilson doesn't hit, that's okay. He has a first where he can go get a quarterback. And if he is a believer in Kenny Pickett, like I am, then I'm saying, okay, Zach Wilson doesn't hit. I got a future quarterback with the Steelers in Kenny Pickett, and he's going to be the guy. Whether he plays this year,
doesn't hit?
If Kenny does, well, we won't know if Kenny doesn't hit for the next 2 to 3 years.
Sure. Yeah.
So then by that time we'll be like, okay, like we can start making moves now. So that means hypothetically he has CJ, he has Jordan Addison hypothetically, and then he gets maybe a running back in the second. Let's just say
right.
I'm trying to think of a running back. Let's say he gets Sean Tucker, right? So now you have 3 kind of more pillar guys. You don't have the depth still, but you're still building because you're looking at the future. You're getting second-round picks as well because he has 3 second-round picks and he has 2 23 first or 3 23 first. 24, excuse me. 2 24 first. So, I mean, I think this is definitely a long haul for Billy, but I definitely like the idea and the thought process because, we always say this as well. Sometimes the draft is going to change. And by the time it gets there, it's going to be like, dang, well, there's only going to be like 4 or 5 guys that you should really have. Then you have to start trading away these 23 firsts. And maybe you can get other pieces.
I don't know. I still think the class is going to be incredible, but
no, for sure.
Like, look, there's just so many hypotheticals that we just walked through. It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
So many hypotheticals. And I guess my overall thoughts is if Zach Wilson is not the guy that some people think he is, then you might regret this trade. That's the risk reward here that you can afford when you're not competing, though. So it's interesting. It is close. I'm really curious to see what people think about this trade.
Yeah.
Jordan, Billy, if we left out any context, please let us know in the comments below. I enjoyed covering this trade. I really don't know who won this trade. Truly, I don't think we will know for quite a while.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let us know in the comments below what you guys think, though.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.